here today with Miss Londonderry Mariah Larocque. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy and excited to be here.
So let's start with how you became involved in pageants.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I think it was my junior year of high school, and a fellow student came up to me, and she had already been involved in the Miss New Hampshire scholarship program, and she said, Mariah, I'm running this pageant, and we need a couple more girls. Do you think you'd be able to do it? And it's so funny because pageants had never even crossed my mind. It was something that it existed in another universe. It wasn't in my own. So when she asked me, I was just like, a pageant? What? Those things are real? So yeah, I went, I showed up, I did it. I had no idea what I was doing. I was super lost, but I had so much fun. And ever since then, I've been competing, and I'm really glad that she came up to me and she asked me if I would take part in it, because if she didn't, I don't know if I would ever, be in Miss New Hampshire or be, doing pageants. So I'm really, really grateful that she did that. But that's how it all started. Just someone said, "Can you do it?" And I showed up. So that's where it all began.
And can you tell us your favorite thing about Londonderry?
My favorite thing, oh gosh, I think that Londonderry has this sense of community, and I think that's something that really ripples through all of New Hampshire, and it's something that I really love, because no matter where I go in New Hampshire, and especially in Londonderry, I always feel a sense of camaraderie and just coming together and supporting one another. So that's something that I absolutely adore and love about this town and New Hampshire, really, because I truly think that we're a state that stands by each other no matter what happens, and we really support, our local businesses, our state, our community, our neighbors, our friends. I just think we're really there for each other.
So for those who might not be familiar with your platform, could you tell us what your platform is and how you chose it?
Of course, yes. So I have been an advocate for substance misuse for the past 5 years. Recently, I have Recently, I have been honored to represent the Drug-Free America as their Goodwill Ambassador. Actually, they flew me down to St. Petersburg, Florida to speak at their annual gala, and it was so wonderful to be able to speak in front of a group, a large amount of people that had the same passion and the same want to help combat the epidemic. But yes, so I got involved because I have just been so impacted by the epidemic, and I've seen so many people struggling, and on top of that, I've lost a great amount of friends, and I continue to see how everyone else is impacted by it. And I don't want to stay quiet anymore. I don't want to not take part in it, because it's everywhere, and I know so much about it, and I've seen so many people being affected by it, and I really just wanted to make a difference. So I took what I have been affected by and how it's impacted my life, and I wanted to become a part of something greater. So I became the Goodwill Ambassador for Drug-Free America. But on top of that, I really try to promote other organizations, especially in my own state. So Drug-Free New Hampshire, I want to give a shout out to them, because they are incredible, along with New Futures and all the other organizations out there that are making such great strides for New Hampshire to be able to impact people's lives and really not just talk about it or keep the conversation going, but these are organizations that are providing people with actual resources and are impacting people's lives for the better, and giving people the opportunity to change their lives. So I just also want to give a shout out to those organizations, because along with Drug-Free America, there are so many other organizations that are doing their part to actually make things happen. So yes, it's something that I'm very passionate about, and I've been dedicating a lot of time to. So I'm Goodwill Ambassador for Drug-Free America, and on top of that, I am just an advocate day in and day out for substance misuse awareness.
And what advice would you give to somebody who might have a friend or a loved one that's currently struggling with an addiction?
Yes, I think, it's so hard, and I understand their pain and what they're going through, but the thing that I would say to them is, find somebody that you can confide in and that can be there for you, because it's very important that you don't bottle up your emotions, because they can be very hard to deal with alone. So my first thing I would say to someone is make sure you're reaching out, make sure you have an outlet to be able to express yourself. And on top of that, I really invite them to take on other resources outside of their friend or the person they confide in. Al-Anon is a great resource for people who are looking to be a part of a community of people that are just like them, affected by friends or family members who are struggling in active addiction or even in recovery. Al-Anon is dedicated to just people who have been affected by other people. So you're not the person struggling, you know the people struggling. However, I also implore people to go to AA meetings or open AA meetings, open NA meetings, open CA meetings, whatever it is that is affecting the person that you love. I think it's a great way to really understand what they have been through and how the 12 steps in the Big Book has impacted their life. So I have gone to over 365 hours of AA meetings. Throughout that time and throughout the meetings that I've been to, I have really been able to understand from their perspective, and I think that that's so important for somebody who doesn't understand or who is so upset or hurt or just wants to help their loved one and they're reluctant to the change or to the help. Being able to listen to people who have taken on the 12 steps or recovery or whatever form of recovery they choose, you're able to hear what they struggled with, how they struggled, and just through that you really get a better sense, a better understanding, and the anger that you once felt because you didn't understand, you may now be able to cope with it better because there are answers to the questions that you don't have answers to now. So just find a loved one that can be there for you while you're going through the hard times and even the good times, but definitely the hard times. And also reach out to organizations or obtain resources that will help you to be able to understand what's really going on, and through that you're actually helping yourself. So that's what I would say to somebody who is struggling with a friend or a family member.
Thank you. I've been told that you're going on a national tour of A Christmas Carol, so how did you get involved in that?
Yes, I am so excited. It's really funny because the director, the owner of the organization, and the man who is starring as Scrooge in A Christmas Carol, his name is Scott Severance. He was actually my 4th grade theater professor. So I remember him when I was just this big, and he was just so excited and exuberant and just, he was theater everything, and it was so great. And I remember him to this day and some tips and tricks that he taught us. And as an adult, I saw him on Facebook, so we connected through social media, and I saw that he was having auditions for A Christmas Carol, and he asked me if I would meet him at a coffee shop. I did. I've never auditioned for anything in a coffee shop before. It's usually like a cattle call or an open audition, and it's very, very strict, but it's very relaxed and a nice little coffee shop. And I was a little rusty at first. I haven't been in a show in a while, and he told me brush it off and let's start again, and I did. And the second time I went through it, I feel like I did really well because I got a call later that day, and he said, I'd like you to be this in the show. Do you want it? And I said, of course, yes. So yeah, I'm really excited for the opportunity. I'm also very happy that I know Scott previously, because it's not like, I don't know a lot of people in the show, so at least I know Scott from late, before in my life, so it won't be just like I'm on a bus with no one I know. At least I'll know him, and I know that, from what I've seen and heard from other people, they're very nice, and I'm very excited to work with them.
So just going back a little bit, what was it like auditioning in a coffee shop? Were there people there watching while you were doing it?
Well, okay, so we talked a lot in the coffee shop, and we talked about the show a lot, and I can't remember if we started the audition in there and then it got to, because there were people there. There's a lot of people there. So I can't remember if we started in there or if he was like, do you want to step outside and do it? But I know that we went from in the coffee shop to outside, which was still strange because we were in the parking lot. So it's like wherever we were going, it was just a new experience because I had never auditioned anywhere than in, something like this, to be honest. And so he, we did it, and it was really great. And you know what? I know he's very humble about it, but he is brilliant. I have seen his work. I I know so much about him, and from what I have seen and the way he talks and the amount of knowledge he has about theater, it blows my mind, and I can only hope that I will be able to be an actor as good as he is throughout my career. So yeah, thank you, Scott. You're great.
So what is your role in the show?
So I'm playing Belle. I'm double cast. I'm playing Belle and Martha Cratchit. Belle is So in the show, Scrooge is taken back in time by the ghost of Christmas past, and we see events throughout his life where he hurt other people or he made the wrong decision because of his clouded mind through his, vision of just money, money, money. So Belle was at one time his fiance, and she ends up leaving him, and he's heartbroken, but he never really shows it. So that's what I play, is like Phantom Belle in like the past. And then I also play Martha Cratchit, who is the daughter of the Cratchits. So I'm very excited to be, able to bring these characters to life, and on top of that, I'm just so excited to be with the rest of the crew, the show crew, and just see them bring this entire show to life through each of their characters, because I think I'm the most amateur one. I've never been, in a professional paid show before, and I know that so many of them have been actors forever. So to be able to, not only bring a show to life with them, but to be able to obtain the knowledge that they have throughout their, time acting will be like far beyond what I could ever ask for. So I'm so excited for just all the opportunities within this one opportunity. So it's going to be great. I'm so excited. Yeah.
Sounds like it'll be a great experience. Is it touring anywhere in New England, in case people are interested in seeing it?
Yes, we are having 2 showings, one on November 22nd and one on November 24th, which is my birthday. I'm very excited to be performing on my birthday. But yes, at the Rochester Opera House, and tickets are online at Perseverance, or I'm not sure if it's online at his website, but I'm definitely sure if you go to the Rochester Opera House's website, tickets should be available. But I did hear that they are selling out pretty quickly. So if you haven't bought them now and you kind of want to now, go ahead and do that, because they might not be there for long. But other than that, those are the only 2 shows in New Hampshire. And we tour all over. We hit, Florida, North Carolina. We go to New Mexico, Colorado. Like, we are all over the place. New York. Oh my gosh, it's going to be crazy.
That's a lot of places in a short time
Right?
period.
We do almost 8,000 miles. And on top of that, I'm just so excited because I get to do what I love. But another thing I love is to be able to see the world, like see the U.S. I've only been to a couple of states, and to be able to, do theater and be paid to do it and see the U.S., I really can't think of anything that would be better than that. So yeah, on top of all that, it's just such a great opportunity as a whole. So I'm really excited to see the rest of the United States and to be able to do what I love.
That's great. It sounds like you have a lot of things going on. So what do you do to manage stress?
I think it's really important that people find things outside of like events and their job, which I'm sure they love. The things that people do things that they love, no matter what it is, even if it's very stressful, or like me, I have so many things on my plate, but all of them, I love them all. But outside of that, I think you need to find things that you love just as much, that are more calming. I love to write, I love to paint, and another thing that I love to do is I love to practice meditation. I think it's very important that people learn about meditation and can bring it into their lives when they're stressed out, because in my opinion, it's one of the greatest ways to be able to calm down. Breathing techniques in general are really good for your entire body because they help you regulate your stress and your breathing patterns. But it's something that you see a lot of celebrities doing, or what I've researched about celebrities, because they're very stressed out. What they do is they also use meditation, and it's starting to trickle down, I think, into not the famous people, just regular people like us. I think a lot of people are starting to adapt to it or bring it into their lives because the benefits are really great of meditating. So on top of finding something you love, like maybe knitting, some people love to knit, some people love to just go for a walk. When things get stressful, I feel like it's very important to find those small things that can just gear you back in, just keep you calm. And keep you focused instead of, your brain going everywhere. Just really center yourself. So those are a couple things that I like to do.
You seem to have a very positive attitude about things in life in general. So how do you maintain that positivity when there's a lot of negativity in the world?
Yeah, that's It's so difficult because I know things have been so awful the past couple of months. Just in the world, there's been so much going on, and even in your life, there can be, ups and downs and hardships that you face. And I feel like it's just the ability to be able to look at the bright side no matter how dark it gets. And not everybody has it, but everybody's capable of it. Not everybody can do it right now, but I really think that it's something that you can learn to do. And it's not always easy. Sometimes, when things get hard, the cloud that, of hardship can just cover you up, and it can feel like where's the light at the end of the tunnel. But I feel like it's really important for people to, at least for me, I always try to believe that there's way more good in the world than there ever will be evil. There's way more love than there is hate, and that no matter what, in the end, love will always triumph. Good will always come. Even in the darkest of times, I truly believe that good it prevails. So to just be able to hang on to that even when things are so hard. Like, right now I'm watching my friend, her mother is battling cancer very, very hard right now, and she's my best friend, and to watch her go through that, it hurts so bad. And no matter what, all I can think of is I just need to be there for her. I need to, keep, happy and understand her, emotions, but always look at the bright side, always, keep chugging along with her and making sure that our vision is more geared towards the happiness than the sadness, and always trying to look for the good in it no matter what, because it is hard, and some people get swept up in the sadness and the hardship, but we can't crumble, because if we were to let the negative just consume us, we wouldn't have the strength to carry on. And that's our purpose, is to continue to carry on and get through the hardships and come out stronger in the end. So just to always see, the good even as hard as it can get.
You will be competing for Miss New Hampshire this spring, and you've done very well in the past, placing in the top 10 and third runner-up one year. So what are you doing to prepare this year, and how does that either differ, or how is that similar to past years?
Well, I think this year's going to be a little bit different, just because I've never done a tour and then gone to Miss New Hampshire, or done a tour and then come off and then prep and then go to Miss New Hampshire. So it's, in that aspect alone, it's going to be different. But I think this year I have a different mindset. I have the mindset I feel like I had 2 years ago when I was third runner-up. Everyone else, I was supportive of them, and I, eager and excited for them, but they weren't my competition, because I truly believe that you're your own competition. You're battling, I guess, against yourself. And I think this year, I just want to be a better me every day. I want to constantly be improving on myself. I want to be learning. I want to be growing. I want to be healthier every day. And all of this, I think, will help me prepare for Miss New Hampshire. But I also think that that's just a great attitude to have in life. I think that if you're constantly, just trying to be a better you, you're making improvements on your mental health, your physical health, your overall health. So I think that I'm just excited to see where I end up this year, with the mindset of just, I am my own competition. I'm here to have a great time with all the rest of my sister title holders, and just represent my passions, my talents, and the Miss New Hampshire organization to the best of my ability. So I'm excited to see where that goes. And yeah, I think that that's a good attitude for every girl to have, is just to not compete against other girls, but to compete against themselves, because we're all so unique, and there's no reason for us to, in some aspects, get so competitive. I think that if we are constantly looking inwards, it'll be not easier, but it'll be better for ourselves. We'll I don't know, because when you're fighting against yourself, wherever you end up is the truest place that you end up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So anyways.
Well, and then you're constantly striving to be a better version of yourself, as opposed to comparing yourself to
exactly.
others,
You're
which I think
most
is a good...
genuine. You're always genuine to yourself. Yeah, because you're not comparing. You're not putting yourself down or rising yourself up. You're just like, this is me in a whole. This is what I have. So yeah, I just want to be Mariah Larocque every day at Miss New Hampshire, and then every day else, just be the best Mariah Larocque I can be. So.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about your talent?
Yes. So I'm a singer. I've been singing ever since I can remember. My mom tells me all the time, you were singing when you were this big, you were singing when you were this big. So I only know from her that I've been singing for forever. And when I choose a song for Miss New Hampshire, I always try to pick something that tells a story that the judges can hear, that the audience can hear, and get a better understanding of myself. Because I think that the most important thing is that even during times when you're not talking, like swimsuit or evening gown, that the audience and the judges get to know you. And you're not just using that time like as a waste, like here's a gown. No, you want them to know who you are. You want them to know you're confident, or you want them to feel like you're telling a story in a way. So especially through my like singing, I feel like it's even a bigger, you know, opportunity to be able to express yourself, and then on top of that, show your talent. So I haven't revealed the song that I'm singing yet, so I'm gonna keep it a secret. But I love this song because it really tells a story, I think, of going out of your comfort zones, and no matter what, always trying to reach your full potential, and never, you know, hindering yourself or staying, you know, comfortable. I feel like I'm somebody who is always taking risks, and I'm always pushing myself to go after my dreams. So I really feel like I'm very excited to sing this song, because I feel like it will really show people that I'm not someone who gives up. I go after my dreams, even when it's hard, even when I change my mind. The way that I change my mind is only always to bring me closer to my dreams. So I really think that this song will embody that, and I hope that I do it justice on stage.
Well, that's great. I'll look forward to hearing it.
Thank you.
Which phase of competition do you find most difficult?
I would have to say probably on-stage question, because just for the sheer fact that you just don't know what you're gonna get. I know that some women love it, and that's great, but you know, we have our strengths and we have our weaknesses, and for me, I can study and I can feel like I know as much as possible about, you know, current events or you know, political topics, but you can study as hard as you want and get a question that you've never heard about before or you don't know of. So it can be very hard in that moment when you're live on stage. You have a few seconds to answer the question in a short, concise, and perfect answer. And it's a lot of, you know, the weight is on your shoulders. But I always tell people, tell the truth. Because if you're on stage and you decide not to tell the truth, chances are that a ton of people in the audience and the judges know the topic, and if you don't know what you're saying, they're going to know you don't. I would so much rather not win because I was honest than to try to slide by making something up. So I always try to remind women that even if you don't know the answer, it does not mean that you're uneducated. It just means that you're human. You can't possibly know every answer to every question. So be honest and, you know, just move on to the next phase of competition after that's done. And that's the best you can do, but it can be really, really nerve-wracking.
I would think it would be nerve-wracking, because even just having to think that quickly and come up with an answer, even if you are knowledgeable about the subject, being under that pressure of a time constraint and having to formulate your thoughts and come across clearly is tough enough in itself.
Right, exactly. It's so true. And when people are sitting in the audience, and, you know, I know it feels like it would be easier, and that's why people would be like, oh, she could have said this or she could have said that. Well, yeah, but when you have that much pressure on you, it can be very difficult, you know. And like I said, it doesn't mean that you're not educated. It just means like there's so much happening in that one moment that sometimes you can blank. Even if you know, you could know everything. Sometimes you blank, your body reacts. It's very intense. But like I said, I know some people who love it. They can't wait to answer the question. I'm just like, oh, give me some of your strength. How do you do this? So,
right, that must be nice to be that calm in that situation.
I can't wait to get on stage and answer a question.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
I think that's good advice that you give people, though, to be honest, even if they maybe don't know the answer to the question, to just say that they don't know the answer, because I know I've judged some local competitions, and there has been times when people have kind of tried to get through the answer, but they don't really know what they're talking about, and it almost makes it more difficult for themselves than just saying, sorry, I'm not familiar with that, or something like that.
Yes, it's very true. It's very true.
Yeah, so I heard that you went to Miss America this year.
I did.
Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yes, it was so wonderful, and I want to say thank you to Adria Farr, who unfortunately she was sick, but she let me have her ticket, so I'm very grateful for the opportunity, and I know she's feeling better now, but I was very sad she was sick. But I had such a blast. And, you know, they call it the Super Bowl of pageants for pageant people. So to be able to be there and experience the Super Bowl of pageants was so wonderful. And honestly, it's historic because you get to see the next Miss America crowned. But I also got to see my first ever, like, Miss New Hampshire compete at, you know, Miss America. So I want to shout out to Miss New Hampshire, Lauren Percy. She was absolutely wonderful, and not only that, she's been a wonderful representative of our state, of the program. She's a sweetheart, and she's so smart, and she's so full of energy, and she's been wonderful, and she was amazing at Miss America. And I was grateful to be able to see our new Miss America, Cara Mund, get crowned. I think it's historic. I feel like I was there for, like, I don't know, something amazing, and it was, but it's a part of history, and I was so happy to be there, and especially with my friends, to be able to be there with other title holders. And the other thing I want to say about it is the fact that you're seeing girls from all over, you know, America who compete in the Miss America program, and on top of that, you're seeing girls from international programs or Little Miss programs or whatnot, what have you. It's everything. It's like a smorgasbord of, you know, pick your type. It's all different types of pageants and girls from them. So it was so wonderful because no matter who I ran into or what pageant program they were from, they were wonderful. They were so nice. And I think that just goes to show that no matter who, you know, you meet, in the pageant world, the stereotype that, you know, oh, pageant girls can be catty can really, it's broken down. You know, I feel like we are constantly showing people that stereotype is wrong. And I was grateful to experience Miss America, and I was even more grateful to experience all the girls from all over the country there in Atlantic City. And the boardwalk is amazing too, I do have to say that. It was really fun to walk on that because as somebody who's been competing, this is my 5th year in the program, my 4th year going back to states. When you've never been to Miss America, but you've been seeing and looking at the posts of everybody else that goes there, there are like big things that everyone else does that you always want to do. So when I first walked on the boardwalk, I was like, oh, I'm doing it. I was so excited. I was like, I'm here in Atlantic City. So it was really great, and I hope I get to go back and either compete there or see it live. So again, yeah.
That's very exciting. So having been there at the national level and seeing, you know, the women from all the other states and everything, why do you think Miss New Hampshire has not won a title of Miss America?
It's a hard question. But I think the way that I would look at it is, it's not that Miss New Hampshire is incapable of being Miss America. I think it's that there are different judges for different days and a different girl every year. So with that being said, I feel as though every single girl that shows up to Miss America is there for a reason. They are intelligent, they are kind, they're humanitarians, they're passionate about their platforms, their talents, and they're there for a reason, and any single one of them could be Miss America. I don't feel like Miss New Hampshire has ever delivered to Miss America someone who couldn't be Miss New Hampshire. I think every single year we give them the best of the best. There was a panel of judges that chose her for a reason. And I just think that when they go there, there's 50 girls. That's so many. That's a lot of girls. And to be able to pick which one, you know, that's why they have judges to do that. It's such a hard task. So I don't necessarily think that it's that we've never sent, you know, Miss America, Miss New Hampshire. I just think that it's so difficult to be able to choose, and you know, I truly, truly believe that one year we will be able to give Miss America a Miss America from New Hampshire, and I think that it will be historic. I remember when Allie Nault won Miss America's Outstanding Teen. She was the first Miss New Hampshire teen title holder, but title holder in general, to win a national pageant for our state. So we were just amazed and so excited to have that representative. So it's not impossible. And I do believe that one day we will make history again by having a Miss title holder crowned at Miss America. And whether that be me or someone else, I'm excited to see who it is, because I definitely think that our state deserves that chance and that opportunity, because we have some wonderful, wonderful, talented, passionate, intelligent women that could do the job justice.
Yeah, I definitely do think it's possible, and I can relate to the judging part of it when you said 50 girls, because when I've judged locals, there's maybe 15, and I find that to be a lot.
Right,
So,
and that
I know at
itself is
New
hard.
Hampshire it's 24 to 28
Yep,
usually.
yep.
So 50, I mean, I know the judges are much more experienced than I am, but even so,
Even
it's
then.
overwhelming, I would
Yeah,
think.
Yes,
So.
you know, you have girls that are just so. I couldn't imagine, you know, every 10 minutes having another girl just as passionate, just as well-spoken, just as exciting, just as pretty, just as whatever, come into the and just wow me. And I'm like, how? I'd be like, how is this? Can we just get 50 crowns? Like, so it is hard. So yeah, but like I said, I truly believe New Hampshire will have a girl,
Yeah.
and it'll happen. So
Yes.
we'll see.
I think that'll be an exciting day.
Definitely.
Do you have any interesting stories that you could share from either a local competition or the Miss New Hampshire level?
Yeah, of course. Let me think. I think, okay, so I don't know if it's interesting. However, I just would love to tell this story. 2 years ago, I won the title of Miss Manchester, and I met Alicia, who is the director. Alicia and Catherine direct Miss Londonderry Manchester. So I got the experience of having them as my directors, and through that year, I was able to make such a connection with Alicia and Catherine, but Alicia and I just had this bond and this, I don't know, we just clicked, and she understood me as a contestant, she understood me as a person, as a friend, and I really love her. And through my year of being with her, I saw that she embodied not just Miss New Hampshire or Miss America program, she just embodied what the entire program overall, or to be honest, she just embodies what a great human being should be. She is selfless, she's selfless, she gives without ever wanting to receive anything in return. She is there for you 100%. She wants you to be happy. She wants you to do what makes you happy. And I feel like to find somebody who wants that for you is rare and amazing. And, you know, not a lot of people anymore are so selfless or want you to succeed as much as, you know, she does. And to have found somebody that made me feel so important, but not only that, to make me feel like I was deserving of a friendship like this and of somebody to care for me so much, I was just amazed. And so I found out throughout that year that Alicia had participated in Miss New Hampshire, and she had never won a crown. And so when I was giving up my Miss Manchester crown before we crowned the new girls, because they deserve their moment in the spotlight, I decided that I wanted to crown Alicia, because I just thought she was the complete epitome of Miss New Hampshire and the Miss America organization, and she had never won a crown, and she gave me the crown, so I thought I'd give it back to her. And to this day, she has it on her mantle in her house, and every time I go in, it just reminds me of that wonderful moment that I had with her, that I was able to give her the crown. And you know, she cried, and she like never cries, so like I'll never forget it. But it was just such a, I don't know, a beautiful moment that I had with her. I love her so much. She is so wonderful, and you know, I think that that's a great thing to have for directors in a program like this, because you want women to be partnered with other directors that care about them and that want them to succeed in a wholesome, healthy, in great way, you know? So I'm blessed to be able to have her again this year, and with her help and her support and the support of the other directors that I care so much about, I'm excited to see where I'm able to go.
Well, that was a very kind thing for you to do, and I'm sure she was probably quite surprised,
Yes.
especially if she cried and
Yes.
doesn't normally. So,
I love it.
why do you believe you would be the best choice to take the title of Miss New Hampshire?
Oh my gosh, this is such a tricky question. It's so hard. And like I said before when I was talking about Miss America, every single girl that goes to Miss America deserves to be there wholeheartedly, 100%. They've worked hard. They did the competition and they won. And I feel the same way about Miss New Hampshire. Every single girl that is representing their titles are there for a reason. vying for the title of Miss New Hampshire. We are all intelligent, we are all passionate about our platforms, and we all really represent Miss New Hampshire. So like I said, different day, different judges, different girls, and you know, it's like a feeling you have inside yourself when you want something or you believe you could obtain it. You have this feeling inside yourself and you just have to roll with it. And sometimes it can't be described, it can't be put in words, and I just have this feeling inside myself, whether it's this year or next year or the year after that. I have a few years left. I just feel like I could be Miss New Hampshire, and I want to be Miss New Hampshire. And on top of that, I love this program so much. I have visions and views for it, and different directions we can go in ways that will only progress the future of the program. And on top of that, I love the girls, and I love what this program does for these young women and the scholarship dollars it's able to give us. And to be able to take on such an honor to represent my state and the organization would be a blessing, and I would absolutely love nothing more than to dedicate a year, you know, yeah, I'm sorry, I just get so overwhelmed. To dedicate a year to representing these things that I love so much. And you know, New Hampshire has my heart, these women have my heart, and this organization has my heart, and I just feel like there's a feeling inside of me, and I just have to roll with it, even if I can't describe what it is, the fact that I just would love to be your Miss New Hampshire one day.
So if you were to win, what do you think the first thing you would do would be?
Oh my gosh, I don't know, in that moment or after the...
So that moment is probably a little bit overwhelming, but let's say the next day when you've had time to let everything sink in. And
yeah, well, I mean, from talking with former Miss New Hampshires and, you know, experiencing or watching our current Miss New Hampshire, I know that you are busy, like right off the gate. You know, and one thing that I love about it and the way that I perceive it is, it's not about you. That moment when you're crowned, yes, that moment's yours, but it's really about the people you're going to be impacting and the girls behind you that you're going to be representing and the program you're going to be representing. It's not me, it's you, what can I do for you? So right off the bandwagon, you're, you know, representing your organization, you're going to meetings, you're going to events, you're going to appearances, you're getting, you know, you're prepping for Miss America. So you're essentially, you know, for everyone else, you're doing things for them. And I think that that's wonderful. That's what Miss New Hampshire, I really think the sash should just say, what can I do for you? Yes. Because it's for everyone else. I'm here for you. You know, what child can I make, you know, super happy today? What organization can I stand behind and promote? How can I incorporate Miss New Hampshire in ways that will benefit other young women to be able to, you know, obtain scholarship dollars? You are getting ready to represent something bigger than you, and I think that that's so important to for young women to know. So if I were ever to become Miss New Hampshire, in the moment, I would be so excited, and I would say thank you so many times, because that's all I could do for them trusting me with that opportunity to be able to be of service to everyone else. And then right away, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? So yeah, I don't, from what I've spoken with other Miss New Hampshires, they don't really even process it until like 3 months in. They're like, wow, okay, wow, it is real. Yeah. So I don't even know. It's something that I'm going to have to, I hope I can experience myself one day.
Yeah. Well, I think what you said is important for people to know, because I know even for myself, before I became involved with the organization through either helping out with mock judging or judging local pageants, I didn't really know much about it. I kind of had a lot of the misconception that people have about pageants, but I didn't realize that Miss New Hampshire, Miss America is really more of a scholarship organization, but also the fact about the service part of it. And you're saying you're there to serve others, and I think a lot of people don't know about that part of it, or maybe they just don't hear about it as much. So I think that's great that you're sharing that and letting people know that.
On top of the fact that this is a scholarship organization, we do so much community service. I remember one year I did over 1,000 hours of community service, and that's just me alone. Imagine all the young women across the nation that are a part of Miss America. You know, it varies from state to state who's a title holder, but even people who are vying for the title of you know, Miss Londonderry or Miss Manchester or what have you, they are also doing community service. So we have hundreds, if not thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of women across the United States who are giving back to their communities and giving back to organizations. So, you know, again, to break the stigma of pageant, girls. We're not, we don't just show up and compete in a pageant. This is something that we dedicate ourselves to year round, mostly. And on top of just getting ready for competition, we're going out and spending hours upon hours giving our time to other people because that's what we love. And it's so true. If you talk to these women about their passions and their platforms, they will ooze out with how much passion they have for their topic. And even if it's not their platform, they probably have 20 other areas that they love to give their time to. I love to advocate, and I love to spend my time helping in any way I can for, substance misuse, but I also love to volunteer at the soup kitchen. I also love reading to children. I also love visiting hospitals. So we're constantly just giving our time because that's what we love to do, and this is our outlet to be able to, incorporate literally all the things we love into one, and it's amazing. So yeah, yes.
So, putting aside Miss New Hampshire, whether you get that title or not, and I hope that you do.
Thank you.
What are your goals and aspirations for the future?
So I would absolutely love to be an actress, whether that be Broadway or on the big screen. It's a passion of mine. So I'm studying for that right now, and it's my goal. I'm kind of like, it's like tunnel vision. I just want to get there, so I'll do everything I need to. So whether I win Miss New Hampshire or not, the ultimate goal is to be in movies or be on stage because it's where my heart is. And I think it's really important that people do what they love as a career. But, a lot of people always say, oh my gosh, like that's such a hard career. Not everyone gets there, you're going to be denied so many times, yada da. So they always ask me, do you have a backup plan? And I say, yes, I do. But for anybody that is out there, that wants to be an actor and actress, you go out there and you do it. You follow your dreams no matter what anyone tells you. But I do think that it is important to have a couple backup plans just to keep yourself, safe and ready for whatever life brings you. So although they are two very contrasting jobs, if I am not an actress, I would love to either be a police officer or an art teacher. Those are two things that I love a lot. I love to paint and I love to do art. So like I said, I think it's important to go after a job that you love. And on top of that, I watch Investigation Discovery like it's the only channel on TV. So I know a lot about, criminal investigations and all that stuff. I'm also friends with Captain Thomas, the captain of the Derry Police Department. So he's been like a very big role model for me too. So if I don't end up being an actress, I would love to be, an art teacher or a police officer.
Well, I think those are two great backup plans.
Thanks. Yeah, I hope so.
And is there anything else that you would like to add that maybe we didn't cover or anything like that?
I would really love to just do a plug for the Miss New Hampshire organization. I think it's really important for anybody who's watching this, whether you're a mom of a daughter or a friend of a friend, or you have anyone you know, or if it's you. If you're watching this and you are, looking to gain scholarship dollars, I implore you to visit our website, missnewhampshire.org, and check us out. Please, please, please reach out to anybody that you know in the Miss New Hampshire organization. Our names are listed on the site, and I would be more than happy to help you in any way. I think it's so important that young women know that this is something that's accessible to them. These scholarship dollars are real, they're obtainable, and the Miss New Hampshire organization and Miss America organization in general provides us with an opportunity to do so many things that we love, to better ourselves, to gain speaking skills, friendships, and scholarship dollars to pay for college. I'm currently paying for college on my own, and if you're going to be in a boat like that, or you are in a boat like that, I want nothing more than for you to be able to obtain these scholarship dollars. So yeah, I think it's really important that you know that, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to say it.
Oh, no problem. And one other thing, because I'm noticing your purple ribbon on the sash here. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yes, my purple ribbon is actually for my platform. So we're constantly talking about it. We're constantly, showing it. It's to support stopping the stigma for substance misuse. So, there's a big stigma around people who are struggling with substance misuse, and I'm constantly trying to break down the stigma and do what I can to make sure that we are talking about it, we are doing what we can to make sure that resources are available for people who are currently struggling. And I always represent it. We had a candlelight vigil for people who have passed away. This year we have been just hit like it's been awful. We have lost so many people to this, and it was very sad to be in that moment, but also in the same hand, it was wonderful to see our community getting together and ending the stigma, passing out, purple pins and flyers to say, something needs to be done. We need to stop, having a stigma, and we need to start looking at people as like human beings. And it's very, very true. We can't stigmatize anymore. We really need to open our hearts, open our minds to accesses and avenues to be able to combat this and impact people's lives for the better. So yeah, I'm always happy. I'm also wearing New Futures. So they're another organization that is doing all they can, and Drug-Free New Hampshire is doing all they can for our state. So I'm so happy to be able to wear it and talk about it and advocate for it. So thank you for pointing that out.
Oh, no problem. And the other thing I wanted to bring up and mention, because a lot of people refer to it as substance abuse. So could you explain why you refer to it as substance misuse?
Thank you, yes. We're changing the way we talk when we talk about substance misuse. We have to be careful with what we say. And I think that goes for any part of your day, any conversation that you become a part of. You need to be careful with what you say, because you can hurt people's feelings. And I know a lot of people say, oh, people aren't strong enough anymore. They need to be able to handle what other people say. No, I think that people need to be respectful. I think that the only way that we're going to be able to change the stigma is by changing the way we talk about people. We can't make a difference if we're continuing to stay in the same place, and people call that insanity, staying in the same place and expecting things to change. No, we need to change the way that we talk about things. Substance abuse sounds so awful. It is, it's so awful. But if we make it lighter, it's something that we can approach more often. It's easier to talk about. So that's just one example. There are so many other examples that I won't get into right now because we would be here all night. But I think that it's very important for people to think about what they say, how they say it, especially if they're trying to help someone. If you're trying to help someone, you don't want to say, oh, well, you struggle from substance abuse, don't you? No, you say, oh, I'm aware that you're struggling with substance misuse. Is there anything that I can do to help you? I have resources available. So I think it's just all about how we speak and how we talk. So I know many organizations across the state and across the nation are trying to implement the fact that we need to change how we talk. And I 100% agree. I think that it's about respect, it's about love, and it's about having compassion for another human being. So yeah, thank you for that as well.
Oh yeah, thank you for sharing it with us, and thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it.
I so appreciate you having me here. It's been a blast. It's been so much fun.
You're welcome. No problem, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks.
And thank you for watching.